Hi, yes, someone asked me on Facebook the other day, it's a beautiful day here today, asked me uh, about magic and comedy, magic and satire. Well, it was Crowley himself who said that one of the biggest problems with the magical tradition, the Western magical tradition, was the lack of humour. It never took it into account. And this was bang on. This was a bang on statement. In fact, a lot of people, if you read a lot of Crowley's letters and writings, are absolutely hilarious. The guy had a great sense of humour. Now, what do we mean about using magic and comedy together? Well, anyone, you know me, I'm always cracking jokes, I'm always having a laugh, I'm always taking the piss, I'm always having a good time. And that's, believe it or not, is more powerful for my magical workings than dressing up like a character and being all serious and pretentious with my hand up my arse and all this kind of thing about thinking I'm so important. Sorry for the traffic noise. There's a farmer's market on today. And so that is actually makes you more powerful than that, because I'll tell you why. Magic is really about science, okay? It's really about science more than anything else. And you use this idea of an artistic delivery method in order to change the physiology, the neurology, cognition, consciousness of people, or yourself or others. And that allows you to by override their, shall we say, cognitive pre-assumptions about the world, themselves, and life. If you can make someone laugh, you've broken down a tremendous psychic barrier into them. And there's nothing like it. Now, being funny and being good at comedy is a gift. This is the art part. Not everyone is good at it. This is why memes have been so powerful, and why, like, I had to laugh. I was on a Chaos Magic Facebook group there a while back, and they actually banned memes because memes make people sad. Now, the ultimate expression of chaos magic today probably has been memes. But that's the kind of, like, the cancer of the SJWs have infected everything. Now, I'll give you an example. You will often see me telling jokes on social media, and in real life too. I'm always cracking jokes. The Anto and Deco thing, I do these voices all the time around people. And it's very important because it creates a sense where people are relaxed. But when people are relaxed and you make people laugh, you have an element of stewardship over their consciousness, not to try and control them, but to make your points of view and your desires come into manifestation. You'll have women say that they find men who could make them laugh, they find it very sexy. That's absolutely 100% true. And the reason for that is because Western women have been overcomplicated by things like rivalries and the necessities to find perfect relationships, this kind of thing. A man who makes them laugh takes them away from their Western programming, female programming, and puts them into a world where things don't matter anymore. And they're liberated for a split moment. They're liberated from all the bullshit they've been raised with. Another thing too is that when you make a man laugh, it can save your life. It definitely can. Comedy has all, like, the last one to die in a court was always the jester. The last card put into the deck is always the joker. And on the king and queen, the dukes and bishops and cardinals were all dead. The joker walked out of the castle. You saw that in Edgar Allan Poe's The Mask of the Red Death. The two midget jesters, dwarf jesters, sorry, be politically correct, they survive at the end while everyone else dies. And they get their revenge on Prospero and his maggots. Now, in terms of satire, it's a complicated one. Like, if you want to take someone down and you make fun of them, but through a funny cartoon or an insulting cartoon, or say things, joke about them or slag them off directly, mentioning their names, you actually enhance their power. This is why, with all the shit I get off these assholes who are jealous of me and so on, every time they hate on me, they increase my charisma. That's why when I take a break from Facebook and come back, it's like the second coming of Jesus Christ. It's my charisma continues to grow, and you're depleting your own charisma doing it. And that's why nobody wants to be around someone who can't who's like that, who's always constantly attacking someone directly or others directly. No one, it's not healthy for human beings. It comes from an evolutionary process because, say, you have these maggots who make these YouTube channels where they attack people, right? No sane person wants to be around that because that comes from an evolutionary desire to survive. And if you, this evolutionary desire to survive recognizes that this individual who's doing that would be dangerous to the tribe. So you at a subconscious level, you ignore them because they can't be trusted. And that's what that says, because if they attack someone else, they'll attack me. And that's why you stay away from all these kind of people like that, because they're basically, they're very disturbed and sick people, but they also serve to help create the integration of the tribe, because the tribal function will recognize a parasite or an unstable element towards tribal security within them, and that's why they killed all these old bags who were most of the witches who went to the burning and hanging were not like done for witchcraft. They were done for things like spreading malicious gossip around towns, and everyone was glad to see the end of them. They weren't wise women healers. Almost none of them were. Most of them were. A lot of them were these like malicious gossips who spread absolute horror, telling all kinds of horrible lies and everything around the community. They had to die because they were actually destroying the integration of the tribe. A lot of that went on. That's what the what's the name? The Pendle witches is really all about. And they weren't these wise women healer witches. They were like local monsters. That's what they were. Local harridans, beasts. And that's what a lot of that kind of thing in history and over the years. Now, so the way to do it on a magical sense is to create a kind of an avatar of the person you're wanting to make fun of or to attack. That way, there's two reasons for this. It's like almost like a voodoo doll. A voodoo doll does not look exactly like the person that you're trying to hex. So you create an approximate assimilation, taking basically a famous character and making that famous character an avatar substitute for the one you're trying to attack, because they're either a famous cartoon or puppet or a character in a film. You've already got that emotional charge connected with inside that character, and so they're already known. Especially if they're absurd, or there's an element of an element of absurdity about it. You've already got that charge anyway. So what you're doing is you're piggyback riding on a charge. So if you want to, like, say, compare someone you don't like or is giving you shit, to say, there's a myth about the countryside is supposed to be a quiet place. No, it's not. It's a big fucking gigantic machine for the production of food, and it's anything but quiet. But anyway, yeah. So you say you want to say you get like a Homer Simpson. He looks a bit like a Homer Simpson, or she looks a bit like, I don't know, Nora Batty. Well, you supplement their real personality with that, and you make that the object of ridicule because you're piggyback riding on the charge created around that. So you're not having to work from scratch. So it's almost like having an accelerant to help you burn a fire, or start and burn a fire. And of course, it won't work with me if you do it to me now, because I've invented this system more or less, and I'm protected from it. You have no fucking chance with me. I'm sorry, you're gonna have to kill me or something like that. It's all you're doing is feeding my charisma, but I'm just too fucking good for this. And at this game, I've been playing it for so long. So that's basically it. The best thing is just to like, okay, if you have a grievance against someone, the best thing in the world is just to fucking forget about them and walk on. But if this grievance has not been properly addressed, then you are in your right to do this. And satire and mockery is the best way of doing it. And again, you can't just say, oh, he's a big fatty pants. This kind of child. That's what most of it is like. You have to be really clever. And you see, this is why the best comedy originates from the most intelligent minds, because what happens is, what you're doing when you create a farcical or satirical version of reality is you're creating a supplemental reality which acts as a kind of an overcoating, but it's also integrated into the present reality, and you're in the safety zone, really, because you're controlling this reality, you're controlling this satirical thing. But again, the thing is, this is why politicians are never bothered by things like Spitting Image or Saturday Night Live and all these other horrible, stupid comedians making fun of them, because they're feeding their charisma. You understand? The charisma is being fed. It doesn't matter if you hate them, if you mock them. The fact that you're mentioning their name and putting your energetic force into them, you've actually fed them. But if you create an avatar of them and then put the ridicule towards that, you're not feeding them any charisma, but you are damaging them, because they're actually seeing themselves, and it's unwinding them at the subconscious level. Also, it's like a hex that doesn't come back at you, because you haven't hexed the person through magic directly. You've hexed the avatar of them, and the avatar of them, if there's any blowback on that, it doesn't go near you. And you're also helping the charisma of the famous star or cartoon or image or whatever you're using to promote it, provide the avatar function. So yeah, oh my God, you could not underestimate the power of comedy and satire in magic. It's enormous, and it's one of the reasons most like magic today doesn't work, is because they don't use comedy. They don't use it. If you can't be, and they don't use it, they use it all wrong. They use it ineffectively. But the wit, having a sense, wit in comedy and having wits, intelligence, the two go hand in hand, and it's a lethal fucking combination, I can tell you. And that's how you do it. And you got that whole thing with the left can't meme. One of the reasons the left can't meme is because they're in a victim mindset, and that's another reason for the avatar to a thing as well. Suppose there's a guy out there called, I don't know, Billy McGinty, right? And I'm all over the internet going, I hate Billy McGinty, I hate Billy McGinty, I hate Billy McGinty. First of all I'm doing is feeding Billy McGinty's charisma. Secondly, I'm draining my own psychic power to feed that. That doesn't come free. It's always an exchange of energy. And thirdly, it's taking magical efforts, energetic requirements I need for that, and transferring it to someone else. The better thing to do is to hold on to that for yourself by creating the avatar. Then you've not done that. It becomes very funny, and it's funny for you too, because you're no longer in a state of, this is why the left can't meme, is they're in a state of victimhood. When you're in a state of victimhood, you can't be funny. But when you're in a state of fighting back, you can be funny. You can be very funny. But victimhood, that's why they're the left can't meme. There's always this sense of victim. You cannot be humorous when you're a victim. Now, so I mean, this stuff is so important. It's beyond, like, there's people there reading all kinds of grimoires and ancient magical texts, and they won't get near shit. They won't do shit. Whether some guy can make, or some woman can make, a cutting, snide remark like that and shut down an empire, and it really can be done like that. And that's why they live in terror of things like Trump's tweets, because they're so funny, and they know they're powerless against them. And it's something that you should always remember, that the real good comedy will never ever let you down, and real good satire is never direct. It plays on archetypes, it plays on avatars, and that's how you really do it. And if you hate a politician or an individual, attacking them online by name, making videos about them online by name, creating websites, all you're doing is feeding their fucking charisma, and all you're doing is dying. See you later.